this is Jane, and this is my healthy habit number 37. Now, this habit I love. I might love it the most of any of them. This one is to stay social. This has always been an extremely important part of my life, partly because I'm an extrovert. My mom's super positive person. Both my parents were totally social, totally positive, always inviting people into the house, over for dinner. We always had people around. And not only that, we always had each other because there's so many people in my family. I'm one of 14 children. I'm second oldest. So there were always people, always kids, always friends. And of course, I was raised in a time before the craziness of technology. So what we actually had was each other and in person. And I really believe, not just from what I've observed, but from all the studies I've done, if you look at all of the things that make us healthy, we're talking about nutrition, exercise, sleep, water, all these things that we know are an important part of keeping us healthy. If you do not have the social connection in person, you are not going to be as long living. You're not going to have the health that you would have if you had an in-person social connection as a normal, regular part of your life. Now, there's another piece of this that's really important, because who you surround yourself with is going to determine whether you're motivated, pessimistic, unambitious. These people are going to be an important thing in your life. And I'm not saying to throw your family out the window or throw all your friendships out the window all at once, but be very strategic and very careful with who you surround yourself with. Because if you're surrounding yourself with people, but they're always pessimistic, or life is just always horrible, and maybe they're just laying around and they're unambitious, this is not going to bring you up. It's not going to lift you up. You're going to literally become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose your social connections strategically. And again, I'm not saying to ditch your family and throw out, all of your family members, but you can choose how much time you spend with them. Because if you have people that are extremely negative, they don't serve you. They can either make you stronger or they can make you weaker. And I think as humans, especially in this modern world, where it's extremely critically important for us to be physically and mentally, emotionally healthy, we have to very strategically choose the people that we are allowing into our space and our environment. Because if you're like me and you're a social person, you can feel, you might even not be a social person, but you can feel someone's energy, whether it's energy that lifts you up or energy that pulls you down. Now, there are lots of studies that show how important it is to keep your social connections vibrant and alive, especially as you age. In fact, what I love about a lot of cultures outside of the U.S. is that they have generations of people in the same household. You don't put grandma or your great aunt into a nursing home. Now, if there's physical issues, medical problems, then that's a whole different story. But I think it's really a beautiful thing when you have grandma who is living with you, who adds to the richness of the family, the kids, the meals. There are so many beautiful reasons to have generations of family that live together, support each other. And not only that, it gives an older person purpose. And they're surrounded by people who love them and take care of them. And I believe that that's one thing that as Americans, we could really shift. And in fact, I've warned both my boys, if I'm the last one to go between me and my husband, I am not going to go into a home. I am going to come and live with one of you. And they're both like, yes, 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 of course. So I think that that's one of the things that is really critical for us to pay attention to. In fact, there's been many, many studies. There's a book called The Blue Zones that talks about all of these pockets of people who live past 100. And all of these people, the number one thing that they had in common that kept them being healthy and had longevity was their social connections. So I hope that this can be something that spurs you into not just getting on FaceTime with somebody. In fact, I think at this point we're all kind of sick of Zoom calls and FaceTime calls. And you might still need to do some of that because of location of where you live. But gather up the people in your life that lift you up and have in-person, disconnected from technology, social connections with them and nurture these. These are so, so important. Hug these people, hold a hug a long time. Physically be in the presence of people so that you can get healthier. And that might be something that you have to work on if you're an introvert. So I hope that you are going to work on this habit, and if it struggles for you, and I hope that you're going to enhance it even more if this is something that comes really easy to you. Because if you're like me, this comes really really super easy. The more, the better. Bring it on. In fact, I just had a big birthday a week ago. I turned 60, and I had all of my siblings who could make it. Most of them did. Their kids and some of their grandkids. So I had over 50 people, all family, at my house a week ago, and it was the most beautiful birthday that I have had in a really long time, because I was surrounded by the people I love, and I know that a lot of them felt that way too. So I hope you have a beautiful day. I'd love to hear what some of your favorite ways to social connect are, and we'll talk to you soon.